So you started doing the good habits, you're making progress, you're becoming happier. And because you were making progress, you naturally started to succeed more. But success did its thing. It made you complacent. And because you got complacent, you started easing up on the habits. And eventually, you stopped doing those habits altogether. And now, because you have the knowledge of what you should do, and you still aren't doing it, your mental health is completely tanked. Your confidence is gone. And though your mental health is bad, your confidence is tanked. You still can't push yourself to do the good habits. You still can't push yourself to go to the gym, to read, to meditate. There's always some friction associated with those things. There's too much resistance for you. The worst part about this period is you know the things that you should be doing, and you know the effects that they will have on you, and yet you still choose not to do them. And that messes you up mentally. It's because it's like you're subconsciously telling yourself that I know how to be better for us, but I'm not going to do it. And because of that, your self-esteem is massively reduced. You have no confidence. And you even get to a stage where you feel disgusted when you look at yourself in the mirror. You ask yourself, why do I do these things that I know aren't going to benefit me? Why can't I just read? Why can't I just go to the gym? Why can't I just do all these things that I know are good for me in the long run? What this is the self-improvement depression stage. And it's a very dark aspect of self-improvement. I think about 90% of people go through this stage where they know exactly what they should be doing. They've exposed themselves, they've learned all the benefits of those good habits, and yet they still choose not to do them. It's when you choose not to do the things that you know are good for you, it's like you subconsciously tell yourself that, I don't care about you. And that is never a good thing. And if you're still watching to this point, you're probably in the self-improvement depression stage. You know the good habits. You know that meditation, journaling, going to the gym, all these things, they're going to help you, they're going to improve you. And yet you still don't do them. But this video is going to help you. But the one thing that I have to say is, you have to listen to me. You have to listen to my advice, because I have been through this stage. In fact, I was in this stage for a year. So look, if you're in the self-improvement depression stage, whatever you've been telling yourself, whatever you've been doing has not been working up until this point. So you might as well listen to me and see what happens. And before I continue, like, subscribe, and turn post notifications on. It's a win-win for both of us. You get content that educates you, that makes you better, and I get an extra subscriber. So the first step to overcoming the self-improvement depression stage is to face reality. So when facing reality, you have to acknowledge that you're in this stage. You have to acknowledge that, I know what I should be doing and I'm not doing it. And you have to be quite frank with yourself. Do not try sugarcoat things and tell yourself that I don't have time, or I can't do this because of that. Tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself that you're not doing the habits that you should be doing simply because you don't care about yourself. And once you acknowledge that you're in this position, this self-improvement depression, what you need to do now, this is going to be very boring, but spend 30 minutes, no more, no less, staring at your wall, thinking about what caused you to get in this position. And you'll find that for most of you, you may not know it, but the truth is, for most people who enter the self-improvement depression stage, the main problem is your mental health. But if your problem isn't mental health, you still need to do this exercise, because finding out why you went into the self-improvement depression stage is pivotal, because once you know why, it's easier to find a way how to get out of it. It's easier to overcome that obstacle. There are many reasons why you could have entered the self-improvement depression stage, but normally it's associated with trauma, so something bad would have happened to you, or something that you have perceived to be bad. The second step to overcoming the self-improvement depression is to understand that your brain is untrustworthy. Why I say that you can't trust your brain is because in your brain, you have the knowledge of the good habits and the things that you should be doing and how they'll benefit you. But still, somehow, your brain convinces you not to do those things. There is an area in your brain, a little voice, that convinces you not to do those things. So your brain is untrustworthy. It clearly doesn't want the best for you. It just wants comfort, and it wants you to be safe. Your mind has constantly convinced you to do what you shouldn't do. And if anything, it's your mind that has got you into this position. It's your way of thinking that has gotten you into the self-improvement depression stage. And though this is common, it is your fault. It is your brain's fault for getting you into this position. So you can't trust your brain. You can't listen to what your brain says. Rather, listen to my advice. Listen to someone outside of the situation who can view what you're going through objectively. Because as soon as you apply subjectivity to it, my situation, this, my situation, that, you're giving yourself excuses not to do certain things. So you have to stop trusting your brain and set down ironclad rules. Rules that no matter how you're feeling, no matter what time it is, you are going to do those things. So do not trust your brain. Trust reason. logic. You shouldn't care how you feel, because quite frankly, in this stage, in the self-improvement depression stage, you're not going to feel good. You're going to be low on confidence. You probably won't be happy. So focusing on your feelings and letting your feelings dictate how you act in any period of life, that is bad. But in this period especially, it's completely irrelevant, because you definitely won't be feeling good. And in fact, doing the good habits, doing the things that you don't feel like doing, is going to make you feel better long term. So now that you've acknowledged that you cannot trust your brain, the next step is to reset the foundations. And what I mean by resetting the foundations is to start from ground zero. It's to start from the bottom. Because the reason you're in this self-improvement depression is because you stopped doing the habits completely. And every time you do try to do the habits, you try to go back to your old level of doing things. And the truth is, you've decreased your skill. You're not as good as you were before. Let's say you haven't been to the gym in like 2 months. You won't be able to do the same level and the same intensity of workouts that you were doing 2 months ago when you'd been going to the gym every day. So now you're essentially a beginner again. And to accept the fact that you're like a beginner again, that is going to damage your ego. And it's important that you drop your ego in this stage. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt to tell yourself that, I've lost progress. I need to start from ground zero. But it is the only way you'll be able to get through this. So drop your ego. Acknowledge that you are no longer on the same level that you were before. So now you have to set like new lower standards for yourself. And that may sound demeaning, but let's say in the past you were meditating for 20 minutes. Now the goal is to meditate, even if it's for 30 seconds. Let's say you were exercising every single day, 6 days a week for 2 hours. Now the goal is to exercise. You can still say 6 days a week, but now for an hour. You have to make it easier for yourself, because when you make it easier for yourself, you reduce the resistance. And in the beginning especially, you just need momentum. You just need to start doing the habits. And then once you have momentum, it makes things so much easier. For anyone here who's watching this, who regularly goes to the gym or who regularly does a habit that they didn't do before, the hardest part about adopting a habit is starting. Once you have momentum, once you've been doing it for weeks, for months, it becomes easy. It becomes part of you. It's like it's part of your identity. So right now, you need to see yourself as a beginner again. You need to ease yourself back into these habits. Reduce friction. The more friction that's there, the less likely you are to do that thing. And obviously, you viewed yourself as a beginner, so you're going to have to start small. But the key to this stage, the key to resetting your foundations and getting back to the level you were on, and to actually exceed that level, is to practice progressive overload in all your habits. So let's say for meditation, you can't meditate, so you start meditating for like 2 minutes a day. And 2 minutes may sound like nothing, but I promise you it'll make a difference. Then you progressively overload. So this week you're doing 2 minutes, the next week you go to 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Then eventually 3 months later you're back to meditating for 15 minutes a day. And now, it's not that you're back to meditating for 15 minutes a day. You have momentum for the past 3 months of meditating every single day. My advice for resetting the foundations is you have to start with mental health and fitness. But mental health is the most important one. So the habits for mental health, these habits include meditation, journaling, religious practices. By religious practices, like if you're not religious, this doesn't apply to you. But things like reading your Bible, praying, stuff like that. And then now you have gratitude journaling as well. Gratitude journaling is probably the best thing that you can do for this stage, because gratitude is a controllable, like, feel-good emotion. You can control when you want to be grateful. So gratitude is going to be pivotal in this. And if you don't know how to journal, there should be a video that's going to come up around the top, and in this video is going to detail how to journal. It's going to be a complete guide as to how to journal, and it covers normal journaling and gratitude journaling. And the key with these mental health habits is you need to do them every single day and at the same time every day. The amount of time that you do them doesn't matter at the beginning. You just have to do them. So if you meditate for 2 minutes, take that as a win. If you journal and you write 3 lines, take that as a win. You need to see these things as win and to be grateful for your progress. Because it's when you're grateful for your progress, you reinforce that habit. And then once you reinforce that habit, you're more likely to do that habit and you're going to develop momentum. So with fitness, it's like go to the gym as frequently as possible, about 6 days a week. If you're like starting like not going to the gym at all, then 3 days a week. And then progressively increase that from 3 days to 6 days. Other habits to do with fitness are sleep. In this period, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to make sure that you sleep 8 hours a night. And then the next thing now is diet. Only eat whole foods, clean foods. I promise you, what you eat dramatically affects your cognitive function, your productivity, your mental health. So it's in this stage where you're in the self-improvement depression stage that you actually need to like double down on your diet and to make sure that what you're eating only helps you and doesn't inhibit you to do the things that you want to do. The reason why I say fitness and mental health are the most important things in setting your foundation is because fitness and good mental health are the foundation of an excellent male life. If you do not have these, then you won't be able to enjoy life and you won't be able to make much progress in anything. And the last piece of advice that I have to give you with regards to overcoming the self-improvement depression stage is screw happiness. Because the odds are if you're in this stage, you are not going to be happy. And what you need to understand about happiness is the absence of desire. So as soon as you desire to be happy, as soon as you're doing things so that you can be happy, you have the desire to be happy. And the desire to be happy is obviously a desire. So as soon as you desire to be happy, you're already decreasing your current level of happiness. So it creates this messed up cycle where you are seeking to be happy, and because you're seeking to be happy, you are less happy than you could be in that moment. So what I want you to do now in this self-improvement depression stage is to screw happiness. Do not desire to be happy. Desire to do the things that you know are good for you. Desire to do the good things, especially when you don't feel like it. Desire to do what is good in every moment. And what is good, more often than not, isn't a thing in your mind that you will be like, this is going to make me happy. Waking up early probably isn't going to make you happy, but it will make you grateful. It will make you proud of yourself. So in this stage, do not seek happiness. Instead, seek gratitude and to feel proud of yourself. And the way you feel proud of yourself is to simply do the good things, to do the good habits, because you're naturally going to feel proud of yourself after some time. And that's pretty much all the advice that I have to give you with overcoming the self-improvement depression stage. And I'll emphasize it again. You have to listen to everything I've said. Because whatever you've been telling yourself, whatever has been circulating in your brain hasn't helped. So you have to listen to me, because as I've said, I was in this stage for a year. I struggled to do all the good habits. I knew exactly what I should have been doing, yet I didn't do them. But I overcame that, and now I'm on an upward trajectory, an upward spiral. So if you want to get out of this stage, you have to listen to what I'm saying. Your brain is untrustworthy. So that's it for today's video. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. It's a win-win for both of us.